having those very powerful daily routines to start your day are very helpful. So when you wake up, even before, like getting out of bed, just going inside and first say some prayers of gratitude, being grateful. It's a new day. You're in a soft bed, you have a roof over your head, and you're breathing. So that's wonderful. You start. And then setting a very clear intention that you will run the day and not you won't be run by the day.
Well, today I have a really big treat for you. This individual is a global kindness advocate. She's a business coach, a speaker, and a published author. She's been awarded the #1 spot in the top 50 global leaders on mental health, and she reaches millions of people with her inspirational talks on social media. And on top of all that, she has a huge heart, and she has the desire to help business owners embrace a more compassionate leadership. So I want to welcome today our very, very special guest, Barbara Vercruysse. So welcome. I feel like I need applause.
Thank you for yes, it's a joy and a pleasure to be here with you today, Kathy.
Oh, thank you so much again for being here. So I want to jump in and talk about leadership and kindness, because as entrepreneurs, a lot of times we lead teams. So how do we always lead with kindness, especially sometimes since kindness can be considered to be a weakness?
Yes. And maybe let's say first what kindness is not. Kindness is not niceness. That's why people mix up kindness sometimes as a weakness. And we can be kind and maybe not so nice because we cut through the excuses of someone sometimes, cut through the ego of someone, and still we're kind. The intention is kind. Kindness is love-based, where niceness is more fear-based. We are nice because out of conformity, we were taught to be nice.
Right.
It's taught behavior. We are nice. We say thank you. We say hello. Sometimes we're really nice out of fear from our boss. Maybe we say yes and we cringe and we're just saying yes to be nice, but we all, like our entire being wants to say no. So that's the niceness, which is not natural. Kindness is something which is really natural, and kindness can be speaking your truth in a very powerful way. And maybe you're not nice at that moment, because if you're, let's say, whether it's a coworker, it's a manager, it's one of your employees, and somebody is pushing, like they're really pushing your boundaries. There's something rude, saying something rude. They're really looking excuses to not perform, like the entire spectrum of drama we can have in a daily life in our business. And then you can be if you're really in that place of powerful kindness. So where are you? You are in your own positive energy, in your own light. And you're very much grounded there. So if, let's say, your manager just gave you a rude comment, and he blamed you or she blamed you of something you didn't do. And sometimes people go into fear, or they react. Many people who you could say have not trained themselves or don't have a certain level of awareness. Somebody is rude, they react with another rude remark, or they get angry. So, but how can we stay kind and powerful? First of all, it's staying outside of what has been said, outside the words of that other person, not taking them personally. What that other person says or does is mostly a reflection of his or her state of mind. So it can be an expression of frustration, it can be an expression of anger, but you don't have to take it's like being given poison. You don't have to drink it.
Mm.
You just leave it outside you. And maybe there is some truth in the blaming that the your manager did. Maybe you made a mistake. Then it's up to you to filter the message without the emotion.
So
And you just stay
stay
calm,
not in the state of fear.
not in the state of fear, not in the state of victimhood, not in the state of blaming, like he's blaming you, you're blaming back. No. So if you made a mistake, no big deal. You can correct it and move on. That's how we grow. If you didn't make the mistake and maybe he's covering up his own or her own mistakes, then if you can be powerful and in a kind way, just speak your truth and say, look, that and that happened. That was told. I got the instruction without getting into the drama.
Okay. So, how do you recenter yourself then? Like, let's say you get pulled into the drama or you get pulled into that state of fear. How do you recenter yourself so that you can always be in that state of kindness?
Many times it's just one breath away, you could say. It's just recentering into your breath and it's going inside you. Instead, we're so trained to all our senses, to the outside world, to all those impulses that need reaction, and that we get over, you could say, impulse, that we,
Mm-hmm.
so we have to learn to center. And I think having those very powerful daily routines to start your day are very helpful. So when you wake up, even before, like getting out of bed, just going inside and first say some prayers of gratitude, being grateful. It's a new day. You're in a soft bed, you have a roof over your head, and you're breathing. So that's wonderful. You, you start. And then setting a very clear intention that you will run the day and not you won't be run by the day. So the intention that I set every morning is whatever comes my way today, I will deal with it with grace and ease.
I love that.
Whatever comes my way today, whatever what's thrown at me today, because that's life. I'm a mom, three young adults, like married for more than 20 years, running my business on the road, at home, doing Zoom calls. It's I'm a structured person, but even as being a structured person, every day things don't go as foreseen. And I think that's natural. But we are at the steering of our lives. We are at the steering of the boat. We cannot control the sea. That's beyond our control. And most people, their entire life, they spend in wanting to control the sea
Right.
or in fear in the boat for the storm coming. And they don't live and they don't choose direction anymore. They're just floating. So just be clear on your direction and know that storm can come up every day. But it's the storms that will make you the skilled captain. Most people, they just want calm sea their entire lives. But that doesn't make you a very skilled captain. It's the storms. And once you survive your first storm, you're like, whew, well, that went well. I can do this.
That's right. That's right. And it also makes it more interesting, I think, if you have some
Absolutely.
storms in your life. So I have to say,
Absolutely.
I think just with what you've said already, I'm going to at least listen to it in the morning. It's almost like a daily, I wouldn't say a meditation, but like a daily thought, just with what you
Yes.
just said now on how to start your day. I think it's a really great reminder. So I
Well,
know.
it's important to not, we have a default mode, but if you
Mhm.
make a choice, it's that conscious choice.
Absolutely. So you have a really interesting story. And I know that you came up with 20 habits that you've used in the last 20
Yes.
years. First off, let me
Yes.
ask you, how did you get to those 20 habits? And then maybe we can touch upon a few of the habits.
Yes. Yes. Well, it was in being conscious what how our life is built, like the stepping stones. And then I saw we decide every day, first of all, how we fill our bodies with what we fill our bodies. Whether we eat junk food, whether we treat our body as a holy temple or not, or just fill it mindlessly. Then second thing was how do we fill our mind? And many people, they just fill it with drama, with upset, with watching negativity. And I know that it can influence, like we said in the start of the day, it's just so impactful on your entire being. So it's your body, your mind, then it is the people who you surround yourself with. Who do you choose as your companions in life? We
Mm-hmm.
have that choice. Even if you have the most horrible mother in law, it's just, like a cliche. But you
That's
can
just an example.
choose.
I don't, but
Yes.
just so you know, I have a great mother in law.
I had I had once, and we just grow through the relationship. We really grow after more than 20 years, but it took us some time.
Mm-hmm.
Took us some time. My husband was an only son, and it was quite in the beginning quite challenging. But I think one sign, and I will just like deviate a little bit of what we're talking. I think a sign of because it's very easy as a coach or a speaker to be in front of the camera and talk, but really practicing what you preach. One of the biggest signs I think of a healed or a mature person is the quality of your closest relationships. If you heal those, if you grew through those, that's really challenging for every human being. So that was the third thing, like who are the people you surround yourself with. And then the fourth thing was also the space you live in, like how with what do you surround yourself with? And each of those like had five, I think. I don't know it by heart anymore, had five. So then we were up to 20. And if you read them, you will go like, yeah, it's obvious. But some of them took really long time for me. One of the first things was like taking distance from negative people in my life. For
Mm-hmm.
so long, I had the belief that I was not a good person if I wasn't nice to everybody.
Interesting. Okay.
And those people who even came to me, like on the phone with all their garbage in their lives, and I was like always so compassionate and listening. But now I have like I'm 52, so you gain some maturity and insights, that discernment. Like, are they crossing a boundary? Are they just interested in putting their garbage on me, not interested in who I am, just using me, like a leech or a
Mm-hmm.
bloodsucker or whatever? And I have learned that it's a form even of self abuse to let those people in my life. So you can do that in a kind and gentle way. Just don't pick up the phone if they call. It's so easy. But it took me some time, like first thought like 20 years ago, I was like, oh my God, now I'm a bad person. I don't pick up the phone, even if I'm available. No, no. So it's for somebody else to maybe it's something entirely different, which we all have all things that we have to learn in this lifetime. And just doing that step by step, just like I'm quite a different person than I was then. A lot more empowered, a lot more conscious about the power that I have in life.
That you actually made me think of something else. So, as an entrepreneur, we are always trying to get business,
Hmm.
and sometimes an individual or a company is not the right fit,
Hmm.
and they might drain you. They
Yes.
might be harsh. They might be
Hmm.
all the things that you
Hmm.
really shouldn't have in your life.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
yet you're looking at the dollars that it might bring in.
Hmm.
So it's, my personal thought is, if you bring someone like that into your company in some shape or form, they're your
Hmm.
customer in some
Hmm.
shape or form, that they will drain you
Hmm.
so much that it's almost an adverse effect. It will cause
Yes.
you in the long run
Hmm.
perhaps not to have as much business or
Yes.
whatever, because you're not truly being
Absolutely.
true to
Hmm.
yourself.
Absolutely. And there is a point where, um, of course, it's very easy to speak from a place when business is going fine and you have the luxury to
Right.
say no. I'm choosing who I'm working with. I
Mm-hmm.
don't want this. I do understand that we can be in a place where we need the dollars, and then it's a very tough place to be in and to choose in alignment with who you are and not to be overpowered by choosing for the dollars.
Mm-hmm.
But then also we can choose for the dollars and grow in our role to speak up.
Okay.
That's what I did at a point in, I can say in the beginning, yes, BMW is still one of my biggest clients. And
Mm-hmm.
in the beginning, the way they treated me is not at all the way they treat me right now.
Mm.
So there was a part of me who had to teach them
Okay.
how I wanted to work. So at that time, I really needed the dollars. I really did. As you probably know, like 7 years ago, my construction business almost went bankrupt and I had to reinvent myself. I was in debt for more than $200,000. So every dollar counted. And
Right.
I didn't have the luxury to say no. And in the beginning, it was not easy. They were not, it was just like a different alignment. But
Mm-hmm.
then there's still a way. There's still a way to um, educate them, you could say. And maybe it will clash and it will end. But then at least maybe in the beginning you were a little bit out of alignment, but you
Mm-hmm.
can go to that centered place again.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I love that. So, I get a lot of entrepreneurs, and I know that this is a real problem with entrepreneurs
Mm-hmm.
sometimes, where you get that feeling of being stuck. Or
Mm-hmm.
maybe, so you could be feeling stuck, or perhaps even your business that you are running
Mm-hmm.
is somewhat stuck. It's vacillating from
Mm-hmm.
maybe being a little more successful, going back, that ebb and flow. Any
Yes.
suggestions or like how to become unstuck?
First of all, always keep the big picture. Once we have the big picture, we can be in the mud right now, but maybe like the sea or the beach is very close, but we don't see it because we're really in it. So
Right.
if we could have the bird perspective and have the large picture
Mm-hmm.
and know that every company goes through those, like it's natural. The ebb and the flow is natural. That is not natural. Like every entrepreneur's journey is like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's never like that. Um, so keeping the bigger picture, being flexible,
Mm-hmm.
and it
Absolutely.
can be very uncomfortable to be asked, like maybe your industry is shifting, maybe things are really changing. And then you have one choice: you adapt or you perish.
Right.
It sounds harsh, but it's like that. I was 45. when my construction business almost went bankrupt and I had to reinvent myself. Most people who knew me said, "Oh my God, your end of life is over.
Oh my
You will
goodness.
never find," you know, like,
Really? Oh, wow.
you will never find anything, you know, like they were like, "How will you get over that?" You know, like that debt. You have to, you know, like reinvent yourself. Um, you're so old already. That's what they were saying. You're so old already.
It's never too late. That's always my thing that I tell people,
Yes,
because I have people
it's
always say,
never,
I'm too
never.
old or whatever. It's never,
No,
if you're still breathing, it's
yes,
not too late.
absolutely. So it's never too late. But I had to adapt myself. And in the beginning, the work that I was doing with BMW was in the beginning a little below my level, you could say. I
Okay.
took like a lot of um, administration, but I just, you know, like I was like counting every day, okay, so many dollars went in, and I worked really hard.
Mm-hmm.
Also, not to think too much about what had happened to me, because it was so, it was so overwhelming. And in
Mm-hmm.
working hard, at least I felt like, okay, I'm just moving, I'm moving.
Right. You're moving
But then
forward in
when,
some shape or form.
yes,
Yes.
in some shape or form. But then when you have a certain intrinsic quality, they would ask me, well, can you do quality management there? Well, can you coach that team? Well, can you do that? So within 6 months, I evolved to being part of the management team of two dealerships.
Mm-hmm.
So, but if I would have been too proud in the beginning, I would have said, no, no, I don't do
Mm-hmm.
that. So if you're going through a difficult time in your company, don't always go over your ego, and, you know, like, adapt, and you will see nothing bad is happening. Nothing bad happened to me, you know, like I was alive, I was working,
Right.
and I was growing also professionally, doing other things, new things, and always evolving. And, you know, BMW, the bar is so high that it felt really hard in the beginning, but now it's, you know, like that excellence, it's just so natural for me. And I learned so much. Now I'm grateful for all those hard months. But
Mm-hmm.
in the moment, it didn't feel like that. So adapt, you know, like big picture, then adapt to your market and don't overthink. Sometimes we just have to go into action.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. I always say that out of no matter how bad something is that happens, something good always comes out of it.
Absolutely.
It's
Absolutely.
sometimes it's
Oh,
hard. You have to search for it.
yes, yes, yes.
Um,
And it's horrible in the moment. In the
yes.
moment, it's horrible. And it's okay to feel your emotions. It's okay to cry. It's okay
Mm-hmm.
to be frustrated in the moment. Because if you suppress that, it will come back later. So it's okay. You just stay with with the overwhelm of emotions. And then you take that step back. You say,
Mm-hmm.
okay, so it's a mess. It's a complete mess. But, you know, we're not in a concentration camp. We're not, you know, like, we're healthy. We have our brains, our full capacity of brains, and a healthy body. So the possibilities are limitless.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. I have to say, I think I already mentioned this earlier, but I think I'm going to re listen to this interview many times. You
Mhm.
have really given a very thought provoking interview, and I so appreciate you doing this for me as well as our listeners. Please look up Barbara in her social media, and we're also going to include all your links in there as well too, and your website,
Mhm.
because this lady is, besides being really kind, because she is very, very kind. From my personal experience, she has been very kind to me, but she really puts a lot of kindness out there in the world. So, again, thank you so much, Barbara, for being here today.
Thank you, Kathy.